Good afternoon everybody, we are live at 4:40 p.m. You're with Emma. We've got lots for you in store on Kids National News today and our special show all about animals. But first, let's take a look at what's coming up. We will be showing you what happened when we went to visit both the Hedgehog Hospital called the Prickle Pad and the Rising Sun Country Park. Plus we have our special guest, Jay Gunn, who knows everything there is to know about animals, and he will be joining us in the studio a bit later. We will also be looking at how a council in the Northwest may have kick-started the singing of the National Anthem in school assemblies, and it is set to spread across the country. And lastly, we will be showing you how an otter managed to take his very own selfie. But first, we will show you what KNN got up to when we went to find out more about wildlife in the spring while spending quality time with hedgehogs. Spring is the time of year when animals who have been in hibernation over the winter begin to wake up. Hedgehogs are one type of animal who usually do this, and if they don't, they can become very ill. Luckily, there are people such as Moira Simpson who has set up a hedgehog hospital called the Prickle Pad, where she looks after them until they are ready to be released into the wild again. At the Prickle Pad, the hedgehogs will be fed, cleaned out, be given their injections and be given a special bath each day. Moira told KNN what made her set up the Prickle Pad and how we can help hedgehogs out ourselves.
I found a hedgehog during the day in my garden. It was clearly very sick. And when I found out the plight of hedgehogs and just how endangered they are now, I realised that we had a responsibility. Humans could turn this situation round within a couple of years, to be honest with you, if everybody was on board and first of all start looking at your garden. All you need is actually little holes in the bottom of your fence. There's all sorts of excellent leaflets produced by the British Hedgehog Preservation Society that you can get online to help you with wildlife gardening. So I would say to anybody, if you see a hedgehog out during the day, it is not normal. It is a sick hedgehog and it needs to be rescued.
As well as hedgehogs, there are lots of other types of wildlife to look out for in the spring. KNN went to visit Rising Sun Country Park, where lots of different types of animals and plants live. Whilst we were there, we did all sorts of things. We even did some pond dipping, which is a great way to find out different types of wildlife you might not usually see. At Rising Sun, you can even have a go at building your very own den, or you can try out hiding in their mud hut. Fiona, who works at the park, talked to us about why it is such a great place and the different things we can do to enjoy nature and being outdoors.
To increase the biodiversity in your garden and help all wildlife really is to put a pond in. That's the single thing that you can do. Oh, and just homes, like putting up some nest boxes or making a hedgehog home or a little toad sort of home with an upturned clay pot, things like that. We do lots of events to help people explore the park in a different way, especially with children. You can either look out for warden-led events in the holidays, or if you're confident and know what you're doing, do your own sort of things. There are watch groups which help children learn about nature and wildlife. So get into a club of some sort.
So we can do all sorts of things to encourage wildlife over the spring and summer, but we must also remember to look after it. So now you all know how to encourage wildlife into your gardens and how we can make sure we do everything we can to protect hedgehogs and all other kinds of animals. Now then, most of you should know the National Anthem, and it seems like you may eventually have to sing it in your school assemblies every day. This is thanks to Bolton Council, who has started this marvel in the Northwest, and it is set to spread across the country. Schools in Bolton have been encouraged to sing the National Anthem in assemblies to allow children to feel a passion for patriotism from a young age. This is after Bolton Council voted in favour of the idea. The idea was suggested by councillor Musa, who said he was inspired by his grandfather. His suggestion was taken in favour as the council have decided they would like to encourage schools to fly the Union flag in their school grounds throughout the borough and to encourage them to include the National Anthem as a part of school assemblies. This is in an effort to inspire children within the Bolton family to be proud of being British, enabling them to appreciate the rich history and heritage of the area. Bolton Council will now write to all schools in the area and ask them to consider flying the flag and incorporating a performance of God Save the Queen into the school day. So watch out for your school following in the footsteps of Bolton, as you could end up singing the national anthem in your assembly very soon. Now, you've probably heard about the likes of President Barack Obama and other famous people taking a selfie, but it now seems even an otter has taken to the latest internet craze. One of the otters at the Washington Wetlands Centre, called Musa, has managed to take one of himself after a photographer dropped his camera outside his cage. Owen Humphreys was taking shots of the wildlife in the spring sunshine when Musa reached through the bars of his cage and grabbed the camera. In the background of the picture, Musa's friend Mimi just doesn't look interested in his antics. Owen said that the otter came up to the bars and snatched the camera in both paws from him. Now, otters have always been known to be playful and inquisitive animals, so they are always interested in anything new they might see. Musa has now gone back to his usual hobbies of hunting for shiny pebbles to play with. So with today's programme being everything to do with animals, we have a special guest for you. Jay Gunn joins us here, and he's brought lots of different animals with lots of different interesting facts about each and every one. This is Jay. Hi Jay,
Hi, Emma.
To meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So what are you going to show us first?
I thought we could have a look at a tarantula. She's called Chloe, she's 6 years old. Here she comes.
Wow.
So you can see, everyone knows she's got 8 legs, but these are her 2 arms at the front here as well. So if I hold that alongside her shed skin, this is actually her skeleton, it's her exoskeleton that she came out of. So she's got 8 eyes there on the top here, you can just see these. It looks like 2 big eyes, but they're all clustered close together. At the back of her body here, this is where her spinnerets are. I'll try and get some silk for you from her. Can you see the silk?
Wow.
That's the silk coming out of her. Well, next up we've got Esmeralda. Now Esmeralda is a giant toad, a giant marine toad.
Right.
And here she is. Here's my lovely Esmeralda. I'll pop her down the table here.
She's huge. So why is she called a giant marine toad? Does she live in the sea? Or?
Well, that's what they used to think. That they often find them along the coastline, just in the jungle at the edge of the coast. And so they thought that they must live in the sea because they're so big. Believe it or not, she's not fully grown yet. She's about 60% grown.
Really?
So she'll get a lot bigger than that.
Huge.
If you watch her eyes, she should blink to push the food back down to her stomach there. So we'll look out for that. Okay, I'm going to drop it in front of her, and we'll see if she's hungry today. She's seen it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
This is my latest addition to my zoo. This is Misha, and Misha's just 11 weeks old. She's a baby meerkat. She was born at the zoo.
So what sort of things do meerkats like to eat?
They've got a really varied diet. In the wild, they like to eat scorpions. They're quite famous for eating scorpions.
Wow.
And the funny thing about them is, if they get bitten by a venomous snake or even stung by a venomous scorpion, it could prove fatal for us, you know, but they've got the most amazing immune system. They feel bad for a few days, but they get over it. So she'll get about twice this size when she's fully grown. We're going to have a look at a snake now. It's called a black blood python. There he is. If I pop him down in here, why he's unusual is because of his shape. He's very heavy, as I'm sure you think you were expecting a longer snake. If we just let it settle there, just for a few seconds, what we'll probably see happen is it'll settle down, its tongue will stop flicking, and it'll go into its hunting mode. Now don't worry, okay, we're okay where we're sitting. But it'll do this, it'll sit in water where it lives in the swamps of places like Malaysia is where you find these. This one actually comes from Sumatra, or when I say it comes from there, that's where it would originate from. But they lay in water about this deep, just enough water to cover their body. And it's like a trap then. They use their body like a sort of tripwire. So if a duck comes swimming through the water and it touches the snake's body, the snake knows exactly where to strike to grab its prey there, this snake only gets fed 4 times a year. And isn't that amazing? 4 times a year.
Wow.
And it's ready for something now, I should warn you. But why it can get away with having such a small amount of food is because it doesn't really do a great deal. It's an ambush predator, a bit like the toad. It sits and waits for food to come to it. And when it does arrive, well, it can eat a big meal. Its skin is very elasticated around its neck there. The lower jaw is in 2 pieces. So if you imagine my jawbone was split in 2, and I could lower my jaw down, and then separate it, well, you and I could then eat a basketball. Right,
well, thank you for coming onto the show today. It's been really great hearing about all these different animals, and I'm sure everyone in the audience has absolutely loved it, so thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks.
That's it for today's show, all about animals. I hope that you have all enjoyed it and learnt lots of things from it. I know that we certainly have. For more information about the show, please visit our website. I hope that you all have a wonderful evening, and I shall see you all again very soon. Bye!